Hey everyone, Justin Brawler here, and I'm giving you my review of Boruto episode 57, The Reason I Can't Lose, or the reason I cannot lose. I may have misread the title there, or may have forgot what it said, but truly said by this episode focusing mainly on the second half of the exam, second portion of the exam. But before I get to the actual second exam, we have the scene basically with Boruto and Sasuke still training, while Boruto is trying to learn the shuriken throwing jutsu. That was more of a jutsu per se, because I learned to do it. Throwing two shurikens and have one shuriken bend the other one to the point where it was like it was reflection. It was like they bounce back and hit the one shuriken to a target. Boruto can miss. He tried. He did it once. He misses, but it took several tries, but he always kept missing. And claiming the fact that this is Sarada's thing, not my thing. And with that conclusion, Sasuke was like, "That's basically your conclusion." Which is one hand, though, of course. With just one hand, mind you, he does the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Which is Shaka Boruto, and Sasuke proclaimed that isn't this supposed to be your style jutsu? Because this was the jutsu that your dad made famous. It wasn't advanced. Well, the Shadow Clone Jutsu was a jutsu as most people used before, but Naruto style back then was basically advanced style, where like, the clones weren't just illusions; they were solid clones. And Naruto pretty much made the Shadow Clone his specialty, because every time you see him, you can't go like every few fights in Naruto. With Naruto Uzumaki as the main focus in the battle, you will always usually see him throw out his shadow clones. He'll throw it in the traditional taijutsu, the Rasengan, on the directions, so basically, he will take like at least top two moves that Naruto always uses in a fight. It will always be the shadow clone jutsu, followed by the Rasengan, and a few other moves in between. So basically, saying if during the shuriken style thing is Sarada's thing, the shadow clone should have been Boruto's thing. Of course, he did once too, but he only managed to get 4 clones out, totaling extending his clone count from 1 to 5. I mean, like he added 1, so he only started with 3 to get up to 4. And eventually, he started with 3. He started with 2 clones, then gradually gets to 3, and eventually he gets the 4th clone, which basically now gets 5 in total. And by the time the 4th one showed, he was like, "Oh, they're like." The 4 just constantly doing their own thing again, as always. Every time they're being summoned by Boruto, they always tend to act against the original. And he was like, "If only you can do 4, I'm going to swear I can do 10,000. If that can do 1,000, I can do 10,000." Well, I was like, "That's impossible. That's literally impossible." All the clones were like, "No, that's impossible. That's not happening. You can't even crack 10 yet, and you're going to claim you're going to go for 10,000? That's nuts." I love that all the clones in this series, his clones are basically just badmouth Boruto every time he tries to do something cool with his clones. So that was the training session. Now onward to the actually before the actual training, there was also a scene with Gaara, Sasuke, and I might have forgotten the one for the now current Mizukage from the Hidden Mist Village. Apparently, during Gaara's on his way here to Hidden Leaf Village for the tuning exams, he was permanently attacked by one of the Otsuki clans, I think Moshiki's subordinates, while the other two were dealing with 8 Tails. He was basically going up against her. No. The attack of the 8 Tails with B and QB were basically doubled before. He claimed that was only his superiors doing it. This attack on you, Gaara, is on me only. So even though having a barrier set up, having a sand cone, he doesn't have officially. I don't think he has a name just yet. I may have forgotten if he had one. He throws in a moment of being right to the chest area, right to also like close to the heart. Takes something out just like what Mosiki did to B to take out parts of QB. And eventually he escapes. And eventually, Gaara realizes this is the warning sound. Like, we're eventually going to see these guys apparently come soon, because if they attacked 8 Tails, B and QB, they kept attacking on my large Jinchuriki, most likely, or at least most accurately, they're going after Naruto, since Naruto is the only remaining. Naruto is the only living Jinchuriki, and the 9 Tails is residing in them. So eventually, these 3 will make their appearance. We're going to see them probably during next week's episode, maybe a week episode afterwards, the following episode after the next episode. That's a little bit of a tease. Now onward to the second half of the junior exams, which basically had this urban ops scenario situation where like all the teams are scattered in the game of capture the flag, where the rules basically one person stays behind to guard the flag, or at least you can have like several people guard the flag, have a whole group guard the flag, but you have to capture the team's flag in order to pass. So it's basically a scramble between all the teams. We can see from the hidden mist, the hidden known from the hidden stone apparently. You guys get to see some majority of all the Kohana 12 students still remaining, but eventually the two teams who got eliminated, the two teams that got eliminated by this point were the all girls teams led by Sumire. They were defeated by the hidden mist, by the hidden cloud village team, the one with the bubble gun with the sword. And Team Deki, with the one Melody, Denki, and Iwabi were ultimately eliminated by the new Sand siblings, while the other two Sand siblings were just marching on flag, leaving Shinki to go at himself. Knowing that Shinki is so powerful, he basically took down all three of them by himself. But you can see a small difference between Lee and Shinki was basically kind of like the series paying homage into one of the best fights from the original Naruto series, Rock Lee versus Guard in the Chunin exams preliminaries, where it showed like how dangerous Guard can really be in a fight. Also seeing how determined Rock Lee is. You have to go push forward, and seeing the 8 chakra trigram, the 8 chakra gates officially open. I was saying 8 trigram, that's basically an Neji thing. That was Neji and Hyuga clan. And as I was saying, of course not to the same scale, but we get to see Lee going at it against Shinki. Again, we can't go through his sand defenses. His hand actually starts bleeding from the tape of it. And eventually, instead of beating down Shinki to the ground like he did with Denki and Iwabi, he just takes the flag behind him and just claims victory for the team. So that's how. So first, secondly, that's how Melody got eliminated from the Chunin exams. We didn't see it 2 parts in the original movie, and in the series, it's confirmed that Denki and Iwabi were part of Melody's team. So eventually, they got eliminated from the Chunin exams in round 2, along with the all-girl team, leaving with the new Inochika Cho from Team 10 and Team 7, Shikida, Inojin, and Chojo, and Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki left in the same for the original Kohana 12. Not 3, 6, for Kohana 12. Now, as for these two teams specifically, the Inochika Cho formation, the new Inochika Cho formation, had to deal with this new squad from the Hidden Mist Village. You try to get the drop on both Shikida, 2 guys try to get the jump on Shikida and Inojin. Eventually, they got beaten down. Chojo just takes the flag and uses a partial expansion. Basically, she wants to squash the other person. The other person who was left, basically the girl. There's one Hidden Mist Village had very long hair up to here. I think only past the shoulders in the chest area. She has to defeat her, got the flag, and they won. In the big chunk of the Chunin exam, at least for round 2, fell down to Team 10, Team 7, Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki going up against the Hidden Mist Village, the triplets. The triplets from Hidden Sand Village were basically swordsmen. The plan was basically Mitsuki and Sarada will capture the flag themselves, while Boruto stayed behind, but the triplets managed to get a drop on him by going 3 against 1. Eventually, Boruto shot clones to create 5 clones, well, 4 of a total of 5. But then the triplets to do their check, which is from 9 to 5, outnumbered. All of them started to go rushing for the flag, leaving Boruto on the ground. But eventually, Boruto realized that he realized their chances of losing here was close. So he's not going to let it in here, because it's very close to losing. Boruto essentially finally used the ninja tool technique, the scientific ninja tool that he had on him right here on his wrist. He's been concealed up to this point. Finally, he released a water style jutsu with no hand signs and clearly no signs of water. He managed to take them down, even with lightning style, to defeat the triplets to protect their flag. And Sarada uses her Sharingan still to the point of the phase 1 portion. The phase 1 of the Sharingan, where eventually, I'm pretty sure she'll eventually have to gradually evolve into phase 3 to complete Sharingan from the base form all the way up to possibly the Mangekyo Sharingan or the Mangekyo Sharingan, or at least eventually she'll probably get Susanoo, even Tsukiyomi, or even possibly Amaterasu. But that's even way more further onto the story. Here and now, Chico tries to the illusion, and all the triplets created the illusion. Genjutsu were like all the flags. One flag was just like naturally the triplets. Created Genjutsu, where they made an illusion where there's a whole bunch of flags and making thinking that okay, this is who gets their whole location where the flag is. He had to go scramble to find which one's the real one, but they didn't count the fact that Saraya had awakened her Sharingan, used the Sharingan, and actually decided to to cancel out the Genjutsu, grab the real flag. So Team 7 and Team 10 have officially passed their exam. Have officially passed, and the only remaining members of the Koan out of 12 to officially pass. And now we have the 4 teams. We also have the 2 mist. We have the Sand siblings. We have the trio from the Hidden Cloud Village. Team 7 and Team 10. Basically left standing for the third phase 3, which is the tournament standing, which is the tournament phase of the exam. And that's set for our next week's episode. And while 10-10 was approximately the exam here, she knows as far as how Boruto was able to do that without any hand signs. Sanson was up. One guy who was in the sky, 1 inch from the skies in our left, was worried about the Michi guy caught on. Ultimately, she didn't really pick on the fact that he was using ninja tool at the time. He reports in, so we're going to see more of his ninja tool skills being used, mostly in phase 3. And that's a good moment. In more of an anime moment here, we're just going to see all the Koan 12 students grouping together after realizing the fact that the all-female team and Denki's Metal East team are officially eliminated. But then, both of them, all of them agree to the fact that there are these ninjutsus they have to claim they are completely unaware of, and they had no idea what these enemies were since they had been able to close information to what they have. And of course, all of them whoever failed, so root for basically for the guys for whoever manages to pass the tuning exams, they'll still be rooting for them. They're also going to still be friends and whatnot. So onward to the scene where we have Boruto. Now, close enough for the episode to finish off. 2 parts in this episode I want to point. 2 scenes in this episode. Close off the episode the whole episode whole. This is a scene between Naruto and Sasuke where the two go where Naruto's looking at the suffering the scroll from what Sasuke delivered. Since it was a bit of a rush scene, it's taking 2 hours longer to get this done. And Naruto told Sasuke that he found out that Boruto was being trained under Sasuke. Boruto didn't tell him. He got it from Konohamaru. Naruto also told Sasuke that Sarada passed too as well, phase 2. And he didn't say he was like, yeah, so? And Naruto was like, she was still a little happiness, but why should I? I knew from the beginning she was going to pass anyways. Fully claiming the fact that she's my daughter. Of course she's going to win. I kind of felt that was like a missed opportunity for him to say that line. I was like, yeah, I know she's going to win because you want to know why? She's my daughter. Of course. She's daughter to Chia. How of course she not pass phase 2? And exactly boldly claiming that they were part of Naruto, who basically had his son going up against, his son also passed the exam. Shikamaru also claimed Shikamaru also gave that information about that Boruto's team passed. Eventually, also claimed that we're going to see our sons go at each other in the next phase of the tournament. That actually does happen in the tournament. We're still waiting to see how the movie recap telling us of that. There's even a scene with towards the end of the episode. There's a scene with Boruto and Naruto. Where Naruto comes home from the office for a bit. I guess he get some dinner first, and then go back to the office to finish his work. The two have a very awkward conversation between a parent and a child. But long story short, the short end of this, Naruto congratulates Boruto for passing, and says not to lose to Shikida. And then that's such praise that he got from Naruto for the very first time. Boruto is compelled to actually do his best in Junisen, even though he might have to use Ninja Tool to pass. So eventually we get to see the next preview, the next episode, basically the tournament. We get to see some matches that we didn't see in the movie, because the movie, during the point of the third phase of the exam, they kind of cut a lot of things. They have to kind of cut a lot of the fight scenes, so we're going to see small bits of fights here, so we're going to see Boruto against this one guy from the Hidden Cloud. Those we're going to see all Team 10 go mostly against some of the Sand siblings. And we're also going to see Sarada and Mitsuki go against the rest of the getting themselves. Along the audience of both all the parents, all the 5 Kage, and eventually I'm pretty sure the Fallen episode, 2 things are going to happen in the next Fallen episode. Maybe one can happen in next week's episode, but one can happen the day afterwards. Also, next episode is going to be fully on the tournament itself. And by the two things I'm referring to is basically we're going to have the arrival of the villains and the zoning of Boruto for when he announced that he cheated. Those two scenes can happen either in the next week's episode. Well, one might happen in this week's episode. The other one might happen the following episode after. But we have to wait until we'll see. So until then, leave a like, subscribe, comment, share with friends, and next time for the next video. Later.